Good evening, everybody. Welcome to FFTV and me, Daily Vibe. Thought we'd do a live one, let's be honest. We've been out today running around the zoo with the little one. So I came back and I thought, you know what? Let's do a live Daily Vibe. Few things going on in the football world today. And then later on, I thought it was not tonight, early hours, but the next one. But the Copa America is at 1 a.m., obviously tonight, stroke tomorrow morning. So I'm going to do a watch along for that as well. I thought it was the day after. So we'll do a watch along for that as well. But if you've not already, or you're watching this after pre-recorded, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Like I say, growing a great little community in the YouTube and everything else that we are doing. So today, I just want to go over the Haaland rumours and Pogba. I went on a great show yesterday, the Man United agenda. I'm not a Man United fan, as you know. I'm an Arsenal fan. To speak about Pogba, and it's amazing the difference and the split of opinions amongst Man United fans across the globe, really, not just in, obviously, the UK. So for me, I thought we'd touch base on that. But first of all, we will start with the Haaland one. Now, the Haaland one for me is this deal needs to be done this summer, because I think it's one of those deals where if you wait 12 months, a lot of things happen in football in 12 months. As you know, a lot of things happen. Me being a former player, I know things can happen in 12 weeks. Never mind 12 months. So Chelsea want it done, because if they don't get the deal done, other teams and other representatives from these teams are going to convince Mino Raiola, and then Mino Raiola's job is to then convince Haaland. Now, as you know, if you watch the videos before, you know I've had dealings with Mino Raiola, very, very smallly, nothing major, phone calls back and forth, and he's a hard person to deal with. That's why he has the best players in world football. So the longer it goes on, Chelsea not getting this deal done, the harder it becomes for Chelsea. Chelsea need to get this deal done as quick as they can now. It's not as easy as that. If you don't understand how the financial side works when it comes to these deals, that's the biggest problem when it comes to these deals, the finances. And especially when you're talking 120, 130 million for Haaland to Chelsea, they're going to have to maneuver and how they're going to do their financial fair play. So you're going to have players that are on contract at Chelsea who they're trying to get out the door to free the funds to fit within the financial fair play, because Roman Abramovich doesn't need financial fair play. He can just go and buy Haaland and buy and give him the wages. But that would completely kill the Premier League. We've seen that money obviously brings you success, but that's in any walk of life. So there needs to be some type of cap or financial fair play when it comes to the Premier League. And that's what Chelsea are going to have a problem with. They need to get players out of the door to try and figure out what wages they can implement and fit in to this financial fair play. You're also then going to have players who are out of contract this year or next year. You're going to have those players knocking on the door and say, well, Haaland's on 500 grand a week. What am I going to get? And all of a sudden, a player that was maybe knocking on the door for 100, he'll be knocking on for 150, 175, maybe 200. Abramovich don't care. You know, he's like the Russian mafia. You know what he's like. He don't really care. He gets business done. He does it his way. He's very ruthless. And people can go knock on Tuchel's door, left, right, and center, knock on Abramovich's door, and he will just say that this is not going to happen. So all this has to come into play when they're trying to get a deal done for Haaland. Now, I think it's going on. What I've heard from a few people that I know are still in the game on the agent side, that the deal is still trying to go away behind the scenes. It's no secret. They've made it very clear they want him. They are the front runners. They are the ones who are willing to put the money up, etc., and try and get this deal done. Now, it's very interesting. I will come to all your beautiful comments, as always, when we've just got the first little section out of the way. Now, what I'm going to do here, I always like to screen share, as you know, so to get some credible sources. Now, we know Fabrizio Romano is the most credible, probably Twitter stroke, journalist stroke, whatever you may call him, for information out there. Let's be honest. And he said this was quite interesting that I thought. If we have a look at this tweet earlier. So this tweet here, I'm hoping that you can see it. I'm going to click on it to see if it makes it bigger. Here we are. So this tweet here, for me, tells you that Dortmund want this deal to be done. So Borussia Dortmund sporting director Michael Zorc about Erling Haaland's future. Nothing has changed. We are still planning with Erling for the new season. This is what he's told Bild, okay? Not once have Dortmund turned round and said he's not for sale. Not once. If they really, really wanted to, they would just say, listen, he's not for sale. It doesn't matter what you're going to come with. We've sold Jadon Sancho. This is the deal. Next year, you can have him for 70 million. They don't want that. They can nearly double their money if they sell him 12 months earlier. Chelsea will probably go to about 100, 110, maybe 120, but they're probably going to hold out for 140, 150. But the fact of the matter is, Chelsea are in the driving seat because it's either going to be 100 or 120 or 70. As you've Dortmund want this deal done. Great business for Sancho and Haaland to go in one summer would be absolutely unbelievable. So before we carry on, I'm going to jump into the comments because it's only right. Thank you for everyone popping in. I know it's a little bit of a late one, a little bit of a getting on there a little bit late, but I am doing the watch along later on. So if any of you want to stay up late, it's a Saturday night, come and join me. So Lilian Rama, Nuno, De Gores. We've got, obviously, Chris. Thanks for popping in, Chris. Really do appreciate that. Yeah, Locatelli in advanced talks, apparently, with Arsenal. Interesting. I don't think Juventus have got the money, the financial package to get him. It's not his wages. I think it may be the structure of the payments to try and get him. So that could be interesting. That would be a really good one for Arsenal. We know we've obviously got Traoré over the line today, which was a good one. He's not going to be a regular starter. We know that, but he's a good backup. So that would be interesting. And if they do get Ben White, that would be very, very interesting. For me, they should have gone for Pereira at West Brom. Absolute banker. Oh, they're gonna big up Fran. Big up to yourself, mate. Hope you well. Hope you're having a good weekend. Craig, as always, big up Franny. How's it going, bro? All good. Went to the zoo today. Aren't zoos disappointing now, or were they always that disappointing? And because you was a kid, they thought they were fascinating. But I was saying to the wife, and like one tiger, no lions. Like I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. Could not believe it. Rayan, hope you well, mate. Thanks for popping in. Big up Nuno. How is it at Spurs? I've been Nuno, Henri, Ludicrous. Oh, the amount of names I get coming my way. So let me know your thoughts about this Haaland and Chelsea one, and then we're going to get onto Pogba because that's what we're on here for. We're on here to interact. So going back to the Chelsea one, the structure of the payment's not a problem for them. Players knocking on their door, Roman Abramovich, etc. Thomas Tuchel will be. That's expected when you sign anyone at that level. So they really, really want this deal to get done, big time. Dortmund clearly want this deal done. When you look at that tweet, not once have they ever stated that Haaland is not for sale. They've just said we're preparing for him to come back next season. I think he's gone. I honestly do think he's gone. The only way this deal don't work is if financially Mino and Haaland, it makes sense for them to stay another year because they don't really care whether Dortmund earn 140 or they don't really care whether Dortmund earned 70. Now for Mino, that's a double in wages and he's all about money. So he's going to want this deal to go through, let's be honest, because he gets double his fee. Mino gets a huge fee every time he does deals. For Haaland, wages are probably going to be the same. Whether he waits next year or whether he does this year, it may be a slight difference, but it's going to be an absolute fortunes. Chelsea want to get him before anyone else gets him. Man City don't seem to be speculating much about Haaland. They want Kane more, I believe. Kane's suited in the Premier League. Kane's proven in the Premier League and probably one of the best number 9s in world football. Kane is better than Haaland finishing-wise. But Haaland's got that little bit more ruthlessness, a little bit. He's not as polished, but it's still a huge gamble, huge gamble for Chelsea. So it's interesting, but do not be surprised if that's the ultimate breaking news transfer. It won't be yet. We've got weeks left, but I don't think there's any deadline from Dortmund either. That also tells me that Dortmund, with there being no deadline from Dortmund, they want this to happen badly. For them, it's nearly 200 million euros pounds, whatever it will be, for them to get this deal done. I've heard that they can't really sign anyone else because they don't have the money. Even though they sold Sancho, apparently they're trying to sign someone from PSV, I believe, and it's like 29 million, and they don't have the funds to get this deal done. So interesting, very, very interesting when it comes to the Dortmund, Chelsea, and Haaland. I think it might happen, but I think Chelsea will be the only team that obviously can afford to do that. So let's have a look at a few comments. Tony saying, hi, Fran, Haaland with Tino Werner up front would make Chelsea even more frightening to play against, even though even they good last year and won Champions League. If for me, if Haaland goes to Chelsea, it goes that next level. They're the closest ones who are going to challenge Man City. Now, they had the time off. We all know that they had the transfer embargo. They've had a couple of years where they basically just decided that they're not really going to do business because they can't. Now they're making up for lost time. They really are. They want to catch up with City. They don't want City to continue to try and get in front of them with transfers, etc. So for me, they would be very, very strong. People would say, would Timo Werner's time be up? I don't think Timo Werner's time would be up. I really, really don't. They could play as a 2. They could. You just don't know. You could play Werner on the wide and say, listen, you've got an opportunity. Go out wide, cut inside, score some goals. You just do not know how it's going to be. But let's put it this way: whoever gets him is going to be seriously strengthening their team. Chris has put which zoo? Oh, it's not a big one. It's not London or Chester Zoo. It's Twycross Zoo near us. It's not very good. But I was just surprised how bad zoos are compared to when I was a kid. But I think it's all to do with obviously animal rights, etc. Actually, and also I kind of don't believe in zoos. I felt quite sorry for them, but my son wanted to go, and he don't understand. He thinks that that's where they live. But I felt quite sorry for them, to be honest. I really did. They should be out in the old natural habitat. Rams put Haaland to Chelsea is a great deal. It means Werner gets that inside forward role clamped down. I see Chelsea having a front three of Haaland up front with Werner and Havertz or Pulisic in the wings, and that would be a very, very. Could that be the strongest attacking in the Premier League? It probably, now that Aguero's gone. Obviously, for me, Man City are lacking a little bit of pace now. I was looking at, they've got Sterling, but they're not really playing him. They've got De Bruyne. Obviously, he plays in this free kind of role, who is outstanding. But for me, if Man City can get a proper striker down the middle and continue to play the way they play, it would be quite devastating, to be honest. And I think Chelsea will be very exciting to watch next year. Very exciting to watch. Are Guna has put, if Haaland signs for Chelsea, his first hat-trick might be against us. Do not. I'm going to ignore that. Okay. Wilson, what's happening, mate? Everyone's doing well. Thanks for the message. Hope everyone is staying safe. I'm doing well. Yeah, we're all safe. Wilson's in the house, people. Make sure you say hello to Wilson, regular. Rayon's also put, I think Dortmund want, that's him, Noni Mudienke from PSV. Yeah, he's got an explosive winger. He also helps that he has a creative player like Inatran with him. Now, he's the one they're trying to sign at the moment, but apparently, that they can't afford the fee. Even though they sold Sancho, they can't afford the fee because, as you know, Dortmund and places and teams like this, they're very tight ship, well-run conveyor belt of clubs. They buy, they produce, they produce, they sell. They buy, they produce, they sell. So and it's 49% owned by the fans. So everything is very, very tight knit. So you might say, well, how can you not afford 29 million if you've just made 74 million? Those funds go in all different directions to make sure that this club is sustainable and their model is sustainable, and they do it outstandingly. So they do need funds, and that's why I think that this Haaland deal for them is a lot more beneficial. And Chelsea are willing to pay double now rather than wait 12 months. They want it done. They want to win the Premier League. They want to build on the Champions League. They want to dominate. So fair play to Chelsea, and they love Tuchel. They love him. He's coming. I seen a clip the other day, obviously a rewatch of Frank Lampard saying this squad can't compete with the best, and the same squad's gone and won the Champions League with Tuchel. So it tells you a lot. It tells you a lot. Wilson's put Haaland would cost a lot of money, and I have a sneaky feeling that Chelsea will sign him because they need to close the gap at Man City. That's the whole reason for them trying to go for this player. Yes, they want him, but they're willing to go and spend. Because for me, if it goes into a bidding war next year, there's going to be more competition for Chelsea. They don't want that. You know, when you want to go and get something, you don't want the competition to be sniffing around and knowing the financial and the fundamentals and everything, breaking the contract down. I'm dealing with Mino Raiola. He's now going to be speaking to every big hitter. This is what Chelsea are offering. This is a structure. What can you do? Because Mino wants to get more money for himself. So they've got to do this deal. They've got to do this deal. And by all accounts, Haaland is very, very up for signing for Chelsea. Chelsea is his preferred destination, by all accounts. Chris has put, don't think Levy would tolerate Kane going across London. Hence, that's why I've gone for Haaland. Still think Kane will end up at Man City. I do. Really do. I think Kane will end up at Man City. I also think Kane maybe would not be comfortable going to a Chelsea, given how loyal and the heart emotion, the heart attachment that he has with Spurs. I think Manchester or a PSG or a Real Madrid or whatever would be better for him. But it seems he wants to stay in England because there's been no strong reaction to I don't think Madrid or Barca can get him now because of the financial struggles that they're in, which is a problem for them. But your PSGs can, but they don't seem to have gone for him. There was a little bit of room, especially. So we will see. We will see. But I can see him going Man City, and I can see Levy kind of easing off a little bit and trying to get this deal done. West Midlands Safari Park is good. Yeah, my wife's seen that this morning. I've never been, even with all my children. I've never been there, but something will probably go in the 6 weeks holidays. Wilson's put, I believe that Lukonga and Torres will be positive signings and add more depth to Arsenal. However, we have a lot of work to do. 100%. I see that obviously Tavares has been done now, and Lukonga looks like that's going to be completed. So Arsenal need a lot more signings. I can tell you that. I can tell you that. Wilson's always asked a question as well. Do you think Pogba will stay or leave Manchester United, and why? We're going to get onto that one just after this. How many attacking midfielders do Arsenal need this summer? Attacking midfielders, Arsenal need, I think, one marquee attacking midfielder. Doesn't have to be a creative type. Just needs to be one who can get in the box. And Locatelli would be very good signing if we can get him over the line. Tony's put, Team of an overall game was good last season. His finishing wasn't up to scratch. His movement was excellent. His movement is absolutely excellent. If you've got kids or you want to watch forwards movement, his movement is excellent. He does get offside quite a lot, but he draws so much attention to his movement that he creates opportunities for others. So I really like Timo Werner. Rams put, yeah, PSV are hard balling Dortmund on level. I think they will sell for the Manduenki because they know how high his ceiling is. Yeah, I mean, that's another one. They buy him, he might be worth another 75 million in 2 years' time. So that's how they work. Naves came in the chat. What's happening, mate? Hope you are well. If any of you are up tonight, make sure you come and check out the Argentina-Brazil Copa final. It's at 1 a.m. So I think I'm going to do that because we can't miss that game. I mean, come on. Two of the most absolute giant footballing nations. And the reason that we play football a lot of the time because of these two nations. Naves put, big off FG. You're good. I'm all good, mate. I can't wait to see our pot shapes at PSG to his liking. Think time will tell. He'll do very well there. But as we know, it's the Champions League that makes or breaks managers. Exactly at that level as well. Big time at that level. Big time. Which player do you prefer? Basuma or Locatelli? Completely different. Who would I want to sign? Locatelli. He's going to give us more going forward. And I think Basuma's role is good, but I think you can get an average player who no one's heard of to do a Basuma role. Exactly the same as what Brighton did when they got him. Love hate KSC's put, we need a lot of first teamers not excited yet. Large up FG. Yeah, I don't think no Arsenal fans are excited yet. I can tell you that's for sure. Which player do you prefer, Maddison or Sabitzer? Maddison gives you more for me. I like Sabitzer, but Maddison gives you more. He's already over here. He's already proven that he can do it in the Premier League. So Maddison all day, but I don't think Leicester will let him go for less than 70 million, to be honest. Right, we've got the Haaland one out of the way. This one is a little bit strange and controversial because across the globe, he splits opinion right down the middle. I don't think there's no one in the middle I don't think no one's grey. I think everyone's obviously black or white on this decision. Not as in colour, but as in their opinions are very strong when it comes to Paul Pogba. Now, Paul Pogba has a year left on his contract at Man United. All of a sudden, he's done. He was very good in the Euros. Got to admit, for 3 games, he was very good. 2.5, should I say. But we all know about Paul Pogba. We know what he's about. He splits opinion, as I said. Now, he is out of contract at the end of next year, 12 months. Man United lost him and had to pay 90 million to get him back, which was terrible business, in my opinion. From start to finish was terrible business. Now, that's been and gone. They've allowed him to get down to his final 12 months in a contract, a player of his stature. And now PSG, it was Real Madrid, but Barcelona, they ain't got the money no more. So it can only be PSG or Man City that would probably buy him. Man City won't buy me, wouldn't play in Man City, would hardly play at Man City. So Man United are going to be held to ransom now for Paul Pogba. Again, Mino Raiola is his agent, okay? Mino Raiola is his agent. He's going to play hardball again. We know what he's about. He's already pulled the pants down on Man United once before, twice, if you fact that he went for free and then he came back. And they're going to do it again. Man United have got to be very, very, very careful that they don't get held to ransom. They need to make a move and say, listen, if you want to leave now, and we'll let you go for 50 million. Okay? Because not going to get no more than 50, 60 million with only 12 months left on his contract. If you don't want to leave, you've got to sign this deal, but it's not your 400-500 grand a week, which you think that you are worth, because he's not worth that. Doesn't play enough consistently, doesn't offer enough consistently. So I was on the Man United agenda last night, a show that I've just started going on. They've asked me to go on. So every couple of weeks, I'm going to be on that. So if you go and check that out, they've got like 250 subscribers if you're a Man United fan. As you know, I'm an Arsenal fan, so I give a very unbiased opinion on the show. And we spoke about Paul Pogba last night. And some people are saying he's world class. My massive argument is to be world class, you've got to be consistent, and you've got to do a lot more than Paul Pogba does. And he doesn't do enough. He doesn't do enough. So he's not world class, in my opinion. Does he have world class qualities? Yes. Does he have world class elements? Yes. Does he do it enough? No. So you're not world class, are you? You know, I have Premier League abilities, but I didn't do it enough. That's why I didn't play in the Premier League, you know? And it was very easy for me to just play at the levels that I played at. I should have played at a higher level, but I didn't do it enough. So that's my thing with Paul Pogba. So for me, Man United have got to sell him. They've got to sell him for 50 million if they can get it. He will want to hold out. So he will want to hold out for the final 12 months of his contract. His agent will want to hold out for the final 12 months of his contract. He's always done loads of work with PSG because of Ibrahimovic, all these players that Mino's got. And he will be saying to Paul Pogba, look what happened last time. We can get you away for free. We'll get the wages that you want, and I'll get a bumper payday. Or we hold Man United to ransom. They give us 400 grand a week. They give me my stupid fee. And then we've got them to ransom. And then Paul Pogba turns up every 10 games with an off volley or a strike. They can't afford to let that happen. He's got to go. He's not good enough at Man United. Is he good enough at somewhere else? I also think that if he went to a different country, he's better. He's not a Premier League player. The type of Premier League football does not suit Paul Pogba. And also, he plays out of position, some would argue, for Manchester United. Manchester United don't play the way that suits Paul Pogba. So he does have that in his defense, but he doesn't even run around. He doesn't even run around, which is the bare minimum of a professional footballer. The bare minimum. We run around for free most of the time when we're kid footballers. You run around for those kind of dollars that they're on. More than anything. So I just think they've got to wash their hands with this. It's been a bad deal from when they let him go for free. So when they bought him back, that obviously shirt sales, sponsors, all these kind of things are what entices clubs to want Paul Pogba. Because for me, it's not for his footballing ability. I think a foreign club gets a lot more out of Paul Pogba than English clubs. And he will go, and he could be world class. He could be world class. Time's running out. He's not getting any younger. I'm not sure how old he is. I know he's not old, but time's running out for him to prove that he's world class. The next move that he has needs to be the move that shows the world what he's all about. Because to play every so often internationally for France and do something every so often for France does not make you world class. Does not make you world class. And for Man United, they need to look at it and think, do not be afraid to lose this player, because this player ain't producing. You're the ones that hold the keys to this card. Mesut Ozil was on fire, held the club to ransom. They couldn't allow him to go. Whatever happened in the background, had to get rid of him. Worst thing Arsenal ever did. And actually, for Mesut Ozil, the worst thing Mesut Ozil probably ever did. Financially is great, but we all know money doesn't make you happy. We all know money doesn't solve the problems, the real problems that we have in here in day-to-day life. So for me, that contract probably ruined Mesut Ozil, because he knew that that was it. He was set for everything was set. And for Arsenal, it ruined them because they lost their best player who completely switched off. So for me, Pogba was great at Juve, is good at France, not as often as he should, but it's just not worked out for him at Man United. And I don't know what it is. I don't know why he doesn't seem to want to be at Man United. By all accounts, he loves Man United. He wants to stay there. And if you're going to give someone 400 grand a week, then I'd want to stay there as well. But I think from Man United's point of view, to start building Man United again, because this doesn't happen when Alex Ferguson's there, by the way. When Man United were the force of the planet, when this doesn't happen, Alex Ferguson would say, "You're out the door, mate. You're out the door." So they need to get back to doing that. So that's my little rant on that. As always, I love to interact on the comments. Always love your opinions, whether they're in agreement or not in agreement. Great content as usual, Francis. Really do appreciate it, Wilson. Love 8KSE as Port Sabi as a guy international starter, UEFA Euro Champions League proven. He's good. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a very good player, but I don't think he'd be better for Arsenal than Maddison would. I think because he plays abroad, people think that some reason that players that play abroad are better than when they play in England. And that's been proven to not be the case. IOR's rumored to be chased by Spurs. Spuds, Chris has put genuine or agent fake news. I seen that today. You just don't know. You really just don't know. It could be they need some players at Spurs more than anything, so you just don't know. Rams put, quickly going back to AFC, Locatelli's more of a Xhaka type build for an IAM. Would like to take Hiratan Fekir. Yes, even though the injuries, or the young Austrian from the Euros, forget his name. Locatelli would be a good signing, though. He would be a very good signing, but I do get your point with the others, and you never know who's going to be. You kind of never know who's going to work and who's not going to work. Sometimes Italians don't really work in the Premier League. South Americans, a lot of the time, struggle. But I do like Locatelli's qualities. I do like him a lot. Never's put, I rate Pogba's quality. Play 2 midfielders sitting in beside him and let him run forward. And in my opinion, that's what you get the best out of him. Yeah, I agree. He needs someone else to do the work for him. That's the issue. And in the Premier League, you don't really get that chance. The Premier League, the English leagues and the English football is very, very different from foreign football. And that's why I think he suits foreign football a lot better than the English football. You've seen many foreign footballers come to England and they really struggle. And then you've seen them go back to their countries because the football is slower. It's a lot technical, but it's slower. So when you lose the ball, it's not like a basketball match. In England, you lose the ball because Pogba loses the ball so many times. It's unreal. I've seen Berbatov's interview today talking about him, and he just loses the ball too often. And world-class players don't lose the ball. I was talking about Pedri the other day for Spain. Against Italy, Euro semi-final, 18 years old. Pass completion, 100%. 100%. Did not give the ball away one single time. In a Euro semi-final against Italy. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. 100%. That is incredible. Messi don't do that tonight. Neymar's. No, people don't do that. But Pogba thinks he's that type of player that he doesn't deserve the credit and the money and the wages that he wants and probably is getting already. Doesn't deserve it. Love Hate KSC has put 90 million commercial price for shirt sales and the cost of super agent. Pogba leaving is down to Fergie playing Oshia and giving not a talented players the game time. Hey, listen, we can't argue with Alex Ferguson. He's probably the greatest manager in world football history. Do I think his man management skills probably wouldn't work now? Yes, but you can't argue with him. He said Paul Pogba was not ready. He's not ready. He's still proven right. He's still been proven right. He's gone away, done decent, come back, still not ready. So Alex Ferguson is 100% right. We can't argue with that. Probably the greatest manager we've ever seen in world football. World football. You know? We can't argue with that. Hi, Joe. Hope you're well. Thanks for popping in. Pogba, last good season was 2015 Juventus. Exactly. Now, if you're bad at your job for 5 years, you're getting sacked. You're getting sacked. You know? Man United is a dead team, full of scrubs, Barcelona, and all the Pogba is one of the players that covers the most ground in that team. Nah, you're watching the wrong game, mate. You're watching the wrong game. Pogba don't even hardly run, mate. Bruno Fernandes is different. Bruno Fernandes, effective. Bruno Fernandes, heart. Bruno Fernandes covers ground. I wouldn't say he's a McTominay that covers ground. I'm not asking Pogba to be like that. But Man United, at the end of the day, finished second in a terrible season. I don't think they'll finish second this year. And that's why they're going for Varane, Sancho, Koundé, and players like this. But I think you'll see a different Man United in the next 2 or 3 seasons. I really do. Just because they have the power, the money, and the influence to try and get the best players. Do I think Ollie's the right one? No, I think Ollie's wrong. And just like Nave said, Ollie is clueless when it comes to Pogba, in my opinion. Think this is box-to-box midfielder, which he isn't. See, the thing is, you can't blame a manager when a player is not doing the goods. It's a cop-out. Does Ollie do Pogba no favors? Not really. Does he play him a lot? Yeah. He plays him. He plays him. So it's down to the player. When you're not getting played, then you've got an argument that the manager don't really like you. The manager's not really feeling you when you're not getting played. When you are playing, what more can you do? Doesn't matter whether you're playing fullback, doesn't matter whether you're playing centre-half, doesn't matter whether you're playing centre-mid. I played centre-forward, right wing of a 3, right wing of a 4, right wing back, left wing, holding midfielder, and attacking midfielder throughout my career. And you know what? Every time I played in that position, someone said, you don't start running, you don't. That's the difference. That's the difference what I'm trying to say to people. You look at James Milner, you look at Henderson, you look at these players, and people would say, well, Pogba's miles better than them. Who's more effective? Has he got more talent? Yeah. A lot more talent. Is he more effective? No. And the English game is based on that first than everything else. When you go abroad, it's different. When you go abroad, it's different. But you got to remember, it's very easy to blame a manager. I used to do it through my career. But when you build it down and you have a look at yourself, it's you. Sometimes you can do everything possible and the manager just doesn't like you. And he don't play you. If he's playing you, there's no argument. There's no argument. So in my opinion, and like you're saying, Ollie is a little bit clueless. Do they play him out of position at times? Yes, I do, to accommodate other players. But let's put it this way. If he was that good, and if he was world class, and if Ollie trusted him, Ollie would play him in his best position. That's what we've got to think about, people. Ollie would play him, and I think it splits the division. I think people like Pogba because they like Pogba more so than the fact that they don't really have a look at what he does on a football pitch. So they'll dismiss 10 games, and when you have a good games, they'll say, oh, he's a good player. World-class players don't do that. World-class players don't have that many bad games. So for me, he's just not worth it, and I'll be letting him go. Tony said, Pogba played well in stages in Euro, especially the Swiss game, but I don't think you can call him world-class as he does not do it enough week in, week out. That's the number one question. He doesn't do it enough. He doesn't do it enough. Joe's put Aubameyang should be sold. Time to move on. Need players with ambition. good. You know what? Fair point. You know, it's a fair point in a way for me. I think we've got a situation with Aubameyang where him and Arteta are not really clicking, are they? They're not really clicking, and it's a strange one. I've got to admit, it's a very strange one with what's going on with Aubameyang. Let's hope he comes back pre-season. He likes what he sees, but I think Aubameyang has seen it that it's a sinking ship, and it's going to take a long, long time to get us back where we need to, and he's not going to get the opportunities or the goals that he's normally getting assists. So from his point of view, he'll be happy to go. He would be happy to go. Let me tell you that. I can tell you that now. From Arsenal's point of view, do they get rid of him and maybe potentially 25, 30 goals, which I don't think he's going to get unless we sort something out, and get him off the wage bill and cut your losses? But Arteta, does he put all this pressure on him? That's a big, big pressure to be building a new team and then get rid of your so-called superstar in the squad. But it's not worked at the moment. It's really not worked at the moment. Nave's put to reply to your message, Joe. Nave's put sold at his age, no chance. Nobody's paying mad prices for Abra at this stage in this career. He's 31. Very valid point. Very valid point. You're not going to get a lot of money for him. Wilson's asked another question. Is it about time that people need to put some respect on Southgate's name? Yes, including myself. Including myself, Wilson. I think we have to. Has it been an easy run? Yes, we've mentioned it before many, many times. Have they played 6 out of 7 games at home? Yes. Have they had no red cards, no injuries, nothing that's gone wrong? Yes. Are the stars aligned? Yes. Is luck with us more than anything else? Yes. However, preparation plus opportunity equals luck. And Gareth Southgate has got the prep perfect, and that's why it's worked. So we have to put some serious respect on Gareth Southgate's name, what he has done. Do I like the style of play? No. Do I like the 2 sitting midfielders? No. But the way that Southgate has done it, it has worked. It's competition football, so we've got a great chance of winning it. And he must get some respect on his name, but I'm a big believer in second is the same as last, so we need to win. Next one, I haven't seen Iowa via the eye test. Have you watched him, FG? And if so, what are your thoughts? To be honest, I've only seen clips of him and he looks very, very good. But I could make a clip of me and someone would sign me still. So it's very hard to judge. I've not really seen him play a lot on 90 minutes. I've got to be honest. So it is hard for me to have an opinion on that, Nath, if I'm brutally honest. If I'm brutally honest. Let's go back because we've got quite a few. Love the questions, by the way. Love the interaction. We'll try and get through them all. So Rayan's put Pogba in place of Jorginho at Chelsea would excel since Kante 100%. Pogba would be a different player at Chelsea. I think if they played him in his position, they put Kante next to him because he's very, very confident with Kante next to him. And Chelsea would be dominating most of the games. Man United don't dominate. Tony's put with Ozil on the contract, he lost the hunger. You need to continue to play at a high level. Yeah, he did. You lost the hunger. And that's what makes him not a winner. Winners don't lose hunger. You know, the Ronaldos, the Messis, the best in the world, best, greatest we've seen, don't lose hunger. But Ozil, it's very hard. It's very hard to have that amount of money in that contract and keep the hunger, especially when things are going wrong for you. Sadly for me, based on we AFC want in the UEFA Champions League, and if he has that quality and Maddison has very little European international experience and isn't cute with the ball. Problem is, do you want Arsenal to do well in the Premier League or do you want them to do well in Europe? They're not going to do well in the Champions League. They're 10 years away from the Champions League. So for me, I want them to do well in the Premier League rather than Europa and things like that. Bruno's a spam merchant. He's one of those brothers who bottom mash on Street Fighter. Yeah, but hey, listen, but he's effective. He's effective. Next point, I'm blaming Ollie for playing in the wrong position. That's not his strongest. It might be a cop-out, but I'm sticking with opinion. Listen, that's what the beautiful game's about. Is Ollie contributing to him not being great? Yeah. But I think he's contributing more than himself. But appreciate the opinion. We respect all opinions. Tony's put, I don't like Alex Ferguson because he was at Man United, teams that stop Arsenal win a lot more titles than we have respect for him. Superb manager. Yeah, one of the best we've ever seen. Joe's put, I hope the documentary will expose the joke that Arsenal management, we are putting our hopes on a manager that is a bad joke. And Mertesacker, who is even worse joke, came after the 8-2. Listen, that documentary is another way of making money and a PR stunt. And I'll watch it, of course I will, but it could be shocking. They're filming this season as well. It could be shambolic. Arteta will be getting sacked on this show. Imagine. Nate's put to Joe, Edu isn't any better. Yeah, they need to change everything. Getting rid of Steve Bald with a little token. Last good season under Jose was Zlatan's 20 goals, 20 assists by running stats. KM again. Pogba does cover a lot of ground, and Bruno, another scrub in the headlines. Chicken looking, running with intelligence. Hey, listen, I can only go on who's effective. That's how I judge footballers, who's effective. Stats help, but I don't look too much into it. I mean, it's like when we were talking about Trent Alexander-Arnold, people were saying stats, he can't tackle, and his stats were the best out of every English right back. So I don't really look at stats a lot, to be honest, because they can be quite deceiving in both ways. But I get your point. I do get your point. But if I'm going to pick two players off last season, I'm going to pick Bruno over Pogba because I'm going to get more out of my team winning. And Zlatan missed 100 chances set up by Pogba last season. Yeah, and that's where stats can be misleading, because if he scores them, then the stats change in the favour of Pogba. So that's what I mean. Craig put Pogba more suited abroad than English Premier League. 100%. 100%. Yanni, thanks for popping in. Really do appreciate it. He's put Abba and Arteta has good relationship. I have heard that Arteta defended him for his weak form. 100% Arteta defended him for his weak form. And I think Arteta does like him. However, being in changing rooms and also speaking to a couple of people behind the scenes at Arsenal who've got players there who look after players, there's no respect from one of the sides. That's as much as I can go into, really. There's no respect without obviously saying too much. There's no respect from one of the sides for a certain other side. The relationship is okay, but it's not how you need a manager and your main players to be, if you know what I mean. It needs to be slightly different. I'm hoping that does improve. We've seen Arteta and Pepe's relationship. Again, it's all in actions, how managers treat players and actions, and they've not been quite good. And that's down to the lack of experience that Arteta has in being a manager. Love football haters also put, and have we considered that Pogba's ambition are bigger than United board's current have? Well, you can't have big ambition if you're not playing at the level you need to be playing at. I mean, you can have all the ambition in the world, but if you're not putting in the work, you ain't going to get there, and you're not going to get what you think you deserve, you know? Yannis put respect should be won, not given. Exactly. So respect is won by you doing your job, and Aubameyang's not doing his job. So Arteta, in a way, respects him as a player, you can say, from Arteta's point, but Arteta then on the flip side is not probably respecting him for the performances that he's put in. And then from Aubameyang, respect is earned. Arteta hasn't really earned any respect yet as a manager. So you could argue that Aubameyang doesn't respect the manager because he's not done anything yet. So it's a topic that I think will go on forever until one of them leaves. Nice, but FG, ever since Aubameyang was dropped for the North London derby, in my opinion, that's when something sparked a change in relationship with Arteta. But that's just me as an outsider looking in. I could be wrong. That was very interesting. Arteta had to do that to try and get some more authority in the camp, because if he was seen to let Aubameyang off, then the other players would say, this guy's a mug. So he had to do that to Aubameyang. But then on the flip side, Aubameyang, the way that he is, I'm the man, I'm flash. He's very flash, flamboyant, egotistical. You can't drop me because I'm late in traffic. It's not my fault I'm in traffic, because trust me, I was that type of player. When technically it is your fault that you're in traffic, because you have 24 hours to get to a game or a hotel. And that's what the manager used to say to me. Check the traffic. If you're in a crash, it's different. You may be a few minutes late. That's different. If you're in traffic, anyone can use that excuse. Even if you've got proof, you have 24 hours to get to the meeting point. Leave a little bit earlier. Give yourself time. Get there. So Arteta had to do that. And Aubameyang was clearly very, very, you know what with the situation. And that probably added to already a little bit of a frosty relationship. Chris has put, someone would sign you now, easy, Tiger. I have had a couple of offers, but not full time. even at the grand old age of 41 in football. Nice put to Chris. Yeah, FG was a Neymar footballer in his day. How you mean? Laugh me out. Listen, I'd love to have played like Neymar. I weren't allowed. Bruno runs without intelligence. Could agree to us in some areas of the pitch. Football League. Yeah. Where are we? Rounds put ironic that the North London Stars have documentaries by Amazon. Yeah. Spurs ones was good actually. Arteta owes Aubameyang his job. Now he's put have to be 50% eye test, 50% stats. Football today are full of stat merchants. Imagine if Ronaldinho played today, people wouldn't rate him. Yeah, stats are very, very misleading. I've got to admit, but you also do need them to a certain degree because they can give a reflection of a player, but not a true reflection of a player. Because, like you say, if you put 25 crosses in a box and your centre forward's terrible and he doesn't finish, you don't get no assists. So people don't call them assists. People will put, and I don't even think they put completed crosses. I'm not 100% sure how they do that with the stats. But football's turned into stats merchant. It's a load of nonsense. Wilson's put, I believe that Maddison, Basuma, Navas, Max Aarons would be ideal signs for Arsenal. They'd be very good, but we just wouldn't get them, unfortunately, Wilson. We really wouldn't be able to get all them. One, we don't have the money for all those players. And two, I don't think those players would come. Max Aarons probably, Maddison wouldn't come, Basuma probably, and Neves. So maybe 3 out of the 4 would come, but we just don't have the money. We don't have the money to get those. So we're told anyway, so we're told. Fab, thanks for popping in. First message, really do appreciate it, and thanks for the support. Fab's put, yeah, I have completed passes stats. It doesn't mean anything. For all you know, a player could be playing 98% of his passes sideways or backwards. Very true. Very true. And you do see a lot of midfielders with that problem, which is, very misleading. Wilson's put, do you think that Arsenal need a striker and why? Arsenal should sign Ivan Toney at 30 million if they can get him. He's better than Lacazette. He'll score more goals than Lacazette. He's come through the football leagues. He went to Newcastle too young, and he will work hard for you. And that's what we need. People who want to work hard. Stats depend on the player, position, and tactics. Very true. Love football, hate KSC has put, yeah, I believe that ambition of United, Ball Glaze, etc. is very small. Top 4 ain't much of a trophy, as we know as AFC fans. Pogba has a few left in him to win UEFA Champions League, and Man United are so far off it. Yeah, of course he wants to win everything, but I want to win things. I want to do things now. For example, I want to trade myself to £1 million. I have to put the work in. I have to put the work in, the discipline, the hard work, the sacrifice. I have to put the work in. Pogba has to put the work in. He thinks that he's just going to get crazy money and crazy moves, and it's just all going to be rosy because that's what's happened before. So, do Man United lack ambition to be the best at the moment? Yes, 100%. But Paul Pogba, he's not producing where he is commanding the whole world to be after him. You know? You can't say you were ambitious and not want to put the work in, if you know what I mean. Just put FG, who is better, Curtis Shaw or Eddie Nketiah? Probably Curtis, to be honest. Eddie Nketiah couldn't finish his dinner. Could not finish his dinner. Wilson's put, do you think that Leno will stay or leave Arsenal and why? Well, I think he's made it very clear that he wants to leave. Do we need a goalkeeper? Yes. Is Leno good enough? Yeah, I think he's done a job. We made another mistake with Martinez going and him staying, but Martinez was never going to be a number 2. So he wants to leave, it seems. But there's been no more talk of him leaving yet, so I'm not sure about that one. Sell Abba, buy Kane, good vibes. Imagine that. That would be a story of the history books, wouldn't it? Yannis put, if we sign any striker, what we should do with our current ones, Abba and Lacazette salary are not too small. Yeah, that's the problem, right? You've got to have, for example, Aubameyang leaves. Who's going to pay Aubameyang 300 grand a week? No one. Who's going to pay Lacazette the money that he's on? No one. So we're stuck with two. You know what it's like. You know what? You know when you think you get a bargain? I've done it loads of times. I'll buy a couple of things. I'll see them online, or I'll see them in the shop, or I'll see them at a discount shop. And I'll say, you know what? I can buy that and I can flip it and make some money. And when you realize that you brought it that they ain't worth nothing, even when you've done your own work at first. And after a couple of months, they ain't worth nothing. That's what's happened with our players. That's what's happened with our players. We can't get any money from them. We've lost money left, right, and center. It's just a bad, bad business form. And they really need to get a business model, for me, like a top club. They just don't have it no more. They just don't have it. So it's a good point that you make there. A very good point. Question, Wilson, look the questions. What's your prediction for the Euro final? Oh, listen, well, I'm English. I've got to go England to win 2-1. Kane, it's going to be hard because Bonucci and Chiellini will just be on him. But I'm going to go Kane and Sterling. I'm going to go Kane and Sterling. My prediction, boring final. Yeah, it's not going to be a great final, I can tell you that. And Wilson Support, I have a sneaky feeling that football will be coming on Sunday. This will be intriguing final. Yeah, good. I hope so. Your prediction is 2-1 also. I think it'll be very boring. FG, what is one league that you wish you would have played in during your career, where you feel that you would have developed more? Where would I have developed more? Maybe Spanish. A Spanish league I would have developed more. It's something, if my son gets into football, I would really consider. Spanish, the way they play, the way they teach how to coach football. I would have been better Spanish. I was playing in League One and League Two, and I was always just still trying to get the ball off feet. And I had to adapt my game just to run. And it took my dribbling out. It took my finishing instincts out of me for a very, very long time. And it was, looking back, I loved my football career, but could never really excel because it was the English way of playing. And I hated it. I hate the English way of playing. I just love foreign football. So I would have liked to have gone to Spain as a kid to play football, to be honest. And the assist scheme today is a disgrace, to be frank. It's disrespectful art of assist. Assists are like, yeah, a birthday cake. Anyone gets an assist. Yeah, even if it touches you, you get an assist. What's up, pops in the chat? Haaland and have Guardiola as agents, but if Haaland played really good, no one can buy Haaland 250 million next 3 years. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, ridiculous. Raiola, yeah, I know him. What is your prediction for the Copa America final? Well, I'm going to do a watch along for everyone that might be up. My wife thinks I'm crazy staying up to do a watch along, but I said, listen, this is just one of the two greatest footballing nations we've ever seen in football history. Predictions. Argentina have not won it for decades. As we know, Argentina have really struggled. It's crazy because before Argentina had the best player ever, arguably, they were a force. Since they've had the best player ever, they've really struggled. And I think that's because Messi is so big. So big. Argentina at times sometimes becomes second to Messi. And that's why I think they've struggled. Everything is on Messi. Everything seems to be on Messi. Last time it was like that was Maradona. But he had some awesome players in his Argentina team. Unreal. And over the years, Messi has had some good Argentina teams, but they've not been great probably over the last 5-6 years. So for me, Messi's the greatest player I've ever seen. He's not my favorite, but he's the greatest player I've ever seen. R9's my favorite. But then obviously Neymar, just love the way Neymar plays football. I think if people weren't subconscious bias, then Neymar would be the next best thing because the way he plays football is unbelievable. I think people subconsciously don't understand that they dislike him by the way that he is as a person. They don't like the flamboyancy. Who's better footballer, you or Curtis? Boy, it's a tricky one with different type of players. I was very fast, in your face. Curtis liked to get on the ball a little bit more. So we're different type of players. But I would have to say me because I played higher. The bottom line is that Arsenal are an absolute shambles from top to bottom. We need to be real. That is very, very true. Ryan's put, it's coming Rome if Southgate tries defensive. So you've got the best defensive team probably in history of football against another team who's been the best defensive team in the competition. Next put, my boys from Italy are coming to collect what's rightly theirs to come the final. Interesting. We forget they won the World Cup not long ago. 10 years ago, wasn't it? No, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Have you heard of Rui Puig, I imagine, similar to Pedri? I've heard a lot of good things about him. I don't know a lot about the international players who are not playing, foreign players who are not really high on the international list. I've got to be honest. Nate, love it football. If England win, hope Sterling gets the winner. He has been giving Sterling performance every game this season. He's been magnificent. Obviously, he's not really fitted into what Pep's doing, but he's been unbelievable for England. FG, I'm off to work then. See you then. I'll be off to work then. See you then. All right, mate. See you later. Thanks for popping in. Really do appreciate it. I'm going to wrap it up in about 5 minutes. Bang on the hour. Joe's put, do the watch along with Curtis if possible. Is Curtis doing the Copa America one? I'll get my phone. I'll message him. I'll message him, see if he's doing one. Euro, sorry, season has not been his best. True. Got to admit. Brandon's put, big up, Franny. Thanks for popping in, Brandon. Really do appreciate it. I feel Messi needs this more than Brazil. 100%. 100% Messi needs this. And I just think Neymar and squad are going to ruin the party again. Because Brazil do really well against Argentina. Buendia. In RG squad, Martinelli in the Brazil squad, probably. Don't know if they'll play. Obviously Martinez will play. He was superb in the semi-final. Nate's put, I'm praying Messi can finally end his trophy drought and intention over. I hope so. I really do. R9, Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, or Messi, Suarez, and Neymar. Wow. R9, Ronaldinho, and Rivaldo, or Messi, Suarez, and Neymar. You've killed me there, but I've got to go for the first three. Unbelievable to watch. Unbelievable. Nate's replying to Chris. Don't think Martinelli got called up to that squad. Oh, yeah. I don't think Martinelli did he? I know Martinez obviously in goal for Argentina, but I don't think Martinelli did. Olympics maybe, just like Nate's saying. Brandon's night shift tonight for me, bro. I'll be up for the copper. Okay, well, if you are up for the copper, pop in, retweet it. And I'm not sure where we're going to pop on with Curtis, but I'll message him. We might even be able to do a watch along on that as well. So I'll message him. Nate's put Chiesa to score the first goal, followed by an Inzaghi brace. Put the bets down. Wow, free. You're going for free. Interesting. Right then, people. Great support considering that we did a late stream. Always makes it worthwhile. My wife was right. She said, do a stream, get more interaction. And she was right again. You know what they say, happy wife, happy life. And that I can tell you that is very, very true, people. So right then, I am out. I really do appreciate you all. If you've not already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like, share, comment. If you're still awake or you're on the night shift or you're just out doing whatever you do at 1 a.m., make sure you come and check the live stream out. Quick last message from Craig. I'll answer it because I blocked him the other day accidentally. He's put, yes, Fran, Arna and Ronaldinho, Rivaldo for me as well. Unbelievable footballers. Unbelievable. And we will finish on that. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next video. You take care.